Greetings and welcome to the Veritas Student Information System, or SIS as I'll call it from now on. As a teacher using this system, especially if you're new to this type of system, it may make you a bit anxious, but I'm hoping this introduction and the other tutorials will help ease any concerns that you have. This is a very simple and intuitive system, and I think once you've had the opportunity to use it, I'm hoping you'll find it enjoyable and very straightforward. One thing for certain, it will do a tremendous amount to ease the administration of the school. So we'll start with a login, and I'll just give you a brief overview. Uh, the Veritas SIS system can be accessed from a link on the main Veritas webpage. It will bring you to this page here, which is the login, and you'll simply type your username and password. I've set up a test teacher named John Doe, so we will log in as him. And with his password, you will be assigned a randomly generated password. It's very important that you protect this password. This main page is set up to where you cannot save your password to have it automatically populate for obvious security reasons. You'll notice also there is not a place to request a forgotten password. Again, that's done for security. If you forget your username or password, you need to contact one of the system administrators to be able to reset your password and give you that information. But we're being very, very careful since the online gradebook will be here with how we manage access. So once you've typed your username and password, you just log in. And this is the main screen that you will see. Very simple, straightforward screen. If we just start at the top here, you'll see the current date and the name of the individual logged in. And then these drop downs are very important. This just controls what you will see in the system. You'll see that the school is Veritas Academy. That should be automatically populated. Current school year and current period. You'll notice this says testmester. That's because I've set up some test courses within testmesters just so we did not pollute the other setup that we have. But if you look down here, you'll see a first, second, and third trimester, which most of the courses have. I also set up a first semester and second semester for the one or two electives that use that format. And then down here you'll see testmester and testmester 2. Once we're done with the training, I'll probably delete these out of the system. So you want to make sure you're in the current period. It should default to that, but if not, you may want to double check. Under subject, you'll see the subject, particular subject. Maybe it's math or algebra or history, but you'll see that come up. If you teach multiple subjects or courses, you may have to select which one. For example, I've got John Doe set up just simply in test courses, but you'll see that he is the instructor for test course 1 and test course 2. So if he was getting on to update grades for one or the other of these courses, he'd have to make sure he selected the appropriate course. And if you teach the same course during multiple course periods, I don't think that's the case, so I'm not sure this will be the issue for anyone, but you can also select the period. This is taught during period 1, during testmester, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the short name for the course. So that information basically just sets you up for whichever course. So if you teach multiple courses, it'll be important to select the course that you want to go view or add grades for. Across the middle here, you will see simply a menu with several options. You have the home, school setup, students, users, scheduling, grades, and then the final two, attendance and eligibility, are there. I don't believe we'll be using those in the near term, as we aren't initially going to use the system to track attendance or eligibility for programs. So on the home page, which automatically comes up, you will see just a welcome message, and below here you'll just see some portal notes. So if the administrator or someone else needs to add a note about an update, this is the page I'll use to identify any critical information related to the site, as well as just the welcome message. For example, you will see down here in the second message a link to veritasacademy.org/SIS tutorials. That is the location of the tutorial videos that we are creating. I am not putting these as a link on the main web page, again, just for the sake of not having this information publicly available. You will need to copy down and type in this address to get to the tutorials, or you can simply cut and paste this into the address window in Explorer to pull up the tutorials. You will see, I'll go into detail on these options in future tutorials, but again, you will see school setup. Now again, these menus, because you're logged in as a teacher, these menus have a lot fewer options than they would for an administrator that's responsible for all the setup and information. So these are very simple menus. If you click School Setup, you're going to see 3 options down here that you can select. School information, marking periods, and calendar. Again, you will not be responsible for setting up any of these options, but they're there so you can see, for example, school information. We'll just pull up the information for the school. There's a calendar. Marking periods will actually show the different periods that are set up in the details there. Again, that's just an FYI. Same thing as students. In this section, you will have visibility to any student's information that's registered in your course. You will not be able to see information on all the students at Veritas, but you will be able to see any that are enrolled in your courses, and that's student info. We do have the option also to associate parents and give them accounts to log into the system, in which case they would only be able to see their children's records. And finally, a section to run a report on students. Under users, again, this will just bring up your user information, your username. You can go in and potentially change your password if you need to, although I wouldn't recommend it. And this is just a way to verify your information. Again, this is just an FYI only. So everything up to this point has just been information that you can access, but you're not responsible to do anything with. The same holds true for scheduling. You can pull up here and pull up a student's schedule. So if a student is enrolled in your course, you can pull up their schedule to see when they have other classes scheduled. But again, only for the students in your courses. You can also print a student schedule from here. Again, this is all for information. So all of these menus are just information you can access, but you should not need to change or modify any of that. The attendance and eligibility area, again, in the near term are not going to be used. At a future date, if we decide to track attendance with the system, we have the capability to do it. I have built that capability in, but we're not going to mess with that initially. So finally, the most critical tab here is grades. That is where you will be adding information and making changes. You will see some options here, inputting final grades. There are, within the marking periods, a final grade period where you will go in and review and verify and authorize final grades, and this will be the menu used for that. There's a spot to be able to print report cards, although the administration will also be able to print report cards for students. Very simply, they'll be able to highlight students and click Generate Report Cards, and they will be generated and finished. So very, very easy. There is a section for your grade book, and then an area for reports and setup that we'll review in future modules. The single most important link for you in this entire system is under Grades and Gradebook, because this is the one place where you will interface and use this system extensively, and that is in assigning grades, adding assignments, tests to the system. So this will be the grade keeper function. So we'll be going through all of this in great detail in future modules, but I just wanted to give you a basic introduction to the system.